She ruled East Africa's underworld like a phantom, whispered about but never seen. Amara Okoye. The name alone made hardened criminals check over their shoulders. And Minsik? Seoul's golden boy, a tech billionaire who collected beautiful women like art, a man who thought charm could unlock any door. Until he saw her at 2 a.m. on a Kawasaki Ninja and made the mistake of asking for her number. She told him to forget her. He couldn't. Now a convoy of black Range Rovers surrounds his glass mansion at sunrise, and he finally gets it. He didn't just flirt with danger, he fell in love with it. And danger never lets you walk away. Welcome back, loves. Stay until the end. This one's going to wreck you in the best way. Before we dive in, beautiful people, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way you can support us as we continue delivering captivating stories that'll keep you hooked every single day. Seoul traffic at midnight was its own special hell. Minsik drummed his fingers on the steering wheel of his Porsche Taycan, jaw clenched with frustration. He'd just closed a deal worth 50 billion Korean wons, but sitting in this gridlock made him feel powerless in ways money never could. Then he heard it. The deep, throaty growl of a motorcycle engine. A Kawasaki Ninja H2, matte black with custom exhaust, the kind of bike that cost more than most Seoul apartments and sounded like bottled thunder. The rider pulled up beside him. Female, obvious from the curves her leather suit couldn't hide. Long legs gripping the machine like she was born on it. When she lifted her visor, his heart actually stopped. Dark skin that glowed under Seoul's neon like polished onyx. Eyes holding secrets and starlight. Lips curved in a smile that knew exactly what she was doing to him. Nice car, she said, her accent flowing like warm honey over gravel, African, rich and smooth. Overcompensating. The insult should have annoyed him. Instead, electricity shot down his spine. Women usually threw themselves at his car, his face, his obvious wealth. This one was mocking him. He loved it. Says the woman on a crotch rocket at 2 a.m., he shot back, leaning toward his window with the smile that had worked 1,000 times before. Where are you racing to, beautiful? Nowhere you can follow. Try me. I'm very good at keeping up. She laughed, and the sound did dangerous things to his chest. I doubt that. You look like the type who's never had to work for anything. And you look like the type who makes everything impossible on purpose. Only for men who think they deserve me without earning it. The light turned green. Cars crawled forward. Give me your number, Minsik said quickly, suddenly desperate in a way he didn't recognize. Or I'll die wondering. Then die wondering. She revved the engine, the sound vibrating through his bones. It'll build character. Give you some humility. I don't want humility. I want you. The honesty surprised even him. He never showed his cards this early. Her eyes softened for just a moment, a crack in the armor. Then she dropped her visor. Then prove you're worth wanting. She shot forward, weaving between cars with liquid precision. Within seconds, her tail lights vanished into Seoul's maze of streets, leaving only the fading growl of her engine and traces of her perfume, something exotic and smoky that lingered like a curse. Minsik sat frozen, heart racing like he'd just survived a car crash. For the first time in 31 years, a woman had said no to him. For the first time in his life, he actually cared about changing her mind. 3 days of torture followed. 3 days where Kim Minsik, Seoul's most eligible bachelor and CEO of Nexus Technologies, couldn't stop thinking about a woman whose name he didn't even know. You're completely useless, said Taeyong, his COO and best friend since university. The venture capitalists are waiting for your decision on the Singapore expansion. It's been 3 days. Tell them yes. Minsik barely looked up from his phone. You haven't read the terms. This is a $300 million project. The numbers are good. They're always good. Taeyong exchanged looks with the other executives. They all knew Minsik's reputation, brilliant strategist, ruthless negotiator, charming enough to make enemies smile while he destroyed them. But lately, something had shifted. The Tech Summit Gala is tomorrow, Taeyong said carefully. You're giving the keynote on AI innovation. Remember? I know. What he didn't say was that he'd already planned his entire appearance around the irrational hope that she might be there. Somewhere you can't follow. He'd prove her wrong. The Shilla Hotel blazed with lights when Min-sik arrived. Photographers crowded the entrance as Korea's elite stepped from luxury vehicles. Tech billionaires in designer suits mixed with politicians in traditional hanbok. This was Seoul's upper echelon, the 1% of the 1% gathered to network over champagne that cost more than monthly rent. Min-sik adjusted his custom Tom Ford suit, checked his Patek Philippe. He knew exactly how he looked: devastating, powerful, untouchable. He'd worked 100 events like this, knew which hands to shake, which investors to charm. Tonight felt different. The air itself seemed charged, like the moment before lightning strikes. He moved through the lobby, nodding at familiar faces. CEO Park from Samsung discussing chip manufacturing. Actress Han Soyeon, who'd been unsuccessfully trying to seduce him for months, wearing a dress that left nothing to imagination. He gave her the smile that promised nothing and kept walking. The ballroom was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers hung from hand-painted ceilings depicting Korean mythology. A string quartet played Vivaldi. 500 people filled the space, all dressed in their power and wealth. Min-sik grabbed champagne and scanned the crowd, already calculating conversations, already bored. Then the room shifted. Conversation dipped like someone had turned down the volume on reality itself. Heads turned toward the entrance with synchronized precision. And she walked in. The woman from the motorcycle glided through the doorway like she owned not just the room, but the entire concept of presence. She wore a deep sapphire gown that hugged every dangerous curve before splitting at her thigh. The fabric shimmered with each step like liquid starlight. Her hair fell in natural curls over bare shoulders. Diamond earrings, real ones, he could tell from 50 feet away, caught the chandelier light. But it was her face that destroyed him. Without the helmet, she was devastating in ways that shouldn't be legal. High cheekbones sharp enough to cut. Full lips painted burgundy that made him think of wine and sin. Eyes lined in gold that made her dark skin glow like she'd been carved from midnight by an artist who understood perfection. She wasn't just beautiful. She was a weapon designed to ruin men. Every man in the room felt it, that magnetic pull, that instant desire. He watched their wives notice, saw territorial calculations happen in real time. But she didn't acknowledge any of it. She smiled graciously, nodded at greetings, but didn't stop walking. She was walking straight toward him. His heart slammed against his ribs hard enough to hurt. She stopped 3 feet away. Her perfume wrapped around him like a physical touch, that same exotic scent that had haunted him. "You," he said, voice rougher than intended. "Me," she agreed, lips curving in amusement. He recovered quickly. "I looked for you. Everywhere." "I know. How could you possibly?" "Because I've been watching you look." It was quite entertaining. "You've been watching me? Don't sound so surprised. You're not difficult to track." Seoul's Playboy CEO making headlines weekly. The tech billionaire who dates models and breaks hearts for sport. "Is that what you think I am?" "I don't think anything. I know exactly what you are." She tilted her head, studying him. "The question is whether you know what you're getting into with me." Before he could respond, 2 men appeared, large, professional, moving with military grace. Excellent suits that almost hid the earpieces and telltale bulges of concealed weapons. They positioned themselves on either side of her. Min-sik blinked. "You have bodyguards? To a charity gala?" "You don't." She seemed genuinely curious. "I don't need," he stopped, reassessing everything. "Who are you?" "I'm Kim Min-sik," he said, extending his hand formally. "CEO of Nexus Technologies." She took his hand. The brief contact sent electricity racing up his arm. Her skin was impossibly soft, but her grip was firm, equal. "I know exactly who you are, Mr. Kim. Your company revolutionized AI integration in smartphones. You inherited the business at 25 when your father died. You've quintupled its value in 6 years. You donate to exactly 3 charities annually. You date beautiful women, but never longer than 2 months. Okay, I get it. You did your homework. And you are Amara Okoye." She released his hand slowly, deliberately, fingers trailing across his palm. "Businesswoman. What kind of business?" Her smile was mysterious. "The successful kind." That's not an answer. I rarely give answers on first meetings. Someone called his name, a venture capitalist he needed to impress. Minsik ignored him completely. Dance with me, he said, more demand than request. I don't dance with strangers. We're not strangers. Traffic. Your motorcycle. Your rejection that's been driving me insane. That wasn't rejection. That was me teaching you that not everything comes when you snap your fingers. Has the lesson worked? You tell me. Are you still here, ignoring important people, focused entirely on me? He was. God help him, he was rooted to this spot. What would it take, he asked quietly, stepping closer. For you to give me a chance. A chance at what exactly? Anything. Everything. One conversation. Coffee. Dinner. Your number. A reason to believe you're real. Amara studied him with those impossibly deep eyes. For a moment, something vulnerable flickered across her face, loneliness, maybe recognition. Then her mask slipped back. She leaned in close enough that her lips nearly brushed his ear. Careful, Mr. Kim. Not every door you try to open belongs to you. Some have locks that can't be picked. Some rooms are too dangerous for pretty boys who've never been hurt. The words were a warning wrapped in silk. I'm not afraid of danger, he said, catching her wrist gently. I'm afraid of never seeing you again. Her breath hitched, barely noticeable. But he was close enough to catch it. You don't know what you're asking for, she said softly. Then teach me. Show me. Let me in. For a moment, the universe held its breath. Then Amara smiled, sad and beautiful and full of regret. Not tonight. But soon, if you're brave enough to wait. She pulled back, her bodyguards instantly creating a barrier. Within seconds, she'd been absorbed into another cluster of powerful people who greeted her like she belonged. Minsik stood there, champagne forgotten, feeling like he'd been hit by a truck wrapped in silk and diamonds. Taeyong appeared at his elbow. Who the hell was that? I don't know. You don't know? You were staring at her like she personally invented oxygen. Find out everything about her, Minsik said, voice harder than intended. Everything. Where she lives, what she does, who she knows. Full report by morning. That's extremely stalkerish. I don't care. Do it. The sun hadn't fully risen when Minsik's phone exploded with calls. He ignored the first three, buried deeper in silk sheets. The fourth was persistent enough that he answered. Sir. It was Juno, his head of security, ex-military, never called unless serious. We have a situation. What kind of situation? Minsik glanced at the clock. 5:52 a.m. Vehicles outside your home. 8 of them. Black Range Rovers. They arrived 5 minutes ago and haven't moved. No one's exited. They're just waiting. Ice flooded Minsik's veins. What? Unknown. The plates aren't registered. Diplomatic tags, but not with any embassy. This is military-level formation, sir. Or organized crime. Minsik threw on clothes and ran downstairs. Through the windows, he saw exactly what Juno described, 8 identical Black Range Rovers in perfect formation along his driveway. Tinted windows. No markings. Just expensive vehicles and ominous silence. Call the police, Minsik said. Already did. 10 minutes out. Should I? Everyone stands down. Nobody moves unless I say so. The lead SUV's door opened. And she stepped out. Amara emerged wearing black leather that looked painted on, motorcycle jacket, tight pants, boots. Oversized sunglasses hid her eyes. Her hair was pulled back in a high ponytail. Behind her, doors opened on the other vehicles. Women exited, all in tactical black, all moving with military precision, all positioned with practiced spacing of combat training. They weren't carrying visible weapons. They didn't need to. The threat was in their coordination, their confidence, their presence. Minsik stared, brain struggling to reconcile the elegant woman from the gala with this vision of organized power. Amara removed her sunglasses slowly, folded them, tucked them away. Then she looked directly at his front door, directly at him, though she couldn't possibly see through the polarized glass, and smiled. Sir? Juno's voice was urgent. Should we engage? No. Everyone stand down. That's an order. He stepped outside into the cool morning air. Amara walked toward him with that same graceful stride, perfectly at ease, like showing up with a private army was completely normal. She stopped 3 feet away. He could smell her perfume mixing with dawn air. "Good morning, Minseek. Did you sleep well? What are you doing here? You asked me last night what it would take for me to give you a chance." She gestured casually at the vehicles behind her. "So here I am, following you home, giving you that chance. He couldn't find words. This is insane. You wanted my attention. Now you have it. All of it. I wanted coffee. Maybe dinner. Did you?" She tilted her head. "Or did you want to add me to your collection?" Another beautiful woman conquered by the great Kim Min-seek. Another 2-month relationship that ends when you get bored. The accusation hit harder because it was partially true. "I don't know what you think you know about me. I know everything about you, darling." Kim Min-seek, 31, only child. Inherited Nexus technologies from your father 6 years ago after his stroke. Tripled its worth through aggressive AI integration. Known playboy, 20 confirmed relationships in 4 years, none lasting more than 2 months. You prefer Western women but sleep with Korean models. You work out 5 days a week. You have abandonment issues from your mother leaving when you were 10. She remarried a businessman in Singapore. You compensate with control and conquest. You haven't spoken to her in 15 years despite her attempts to reconcile. You. Stop. The word came out strangled. How do you know all that? You're not the only one who knows how to research people. The difference is I do it before I show interest. You do it after you've already decided you want something. I assess risk. You ignore it. What do you want from me? Want from you? Amara laughed. Darling, I don't want anything from you. I have my own money, my own power, my own empire. But you wanted a chance. You looked at me like I was oxygen and you'd been drowning. So I'm here, giving you exactly what you asked for. Normal people don't show up like this. Normal people don't interest me. She moved closer, invading his space. And I don't think I interest normal men. Do I, Minseek? His name and her accent should be illegal. Who are you really? He asked quietly. A businesswoman. I told you. Businesswomen don't travel with armed security and vehicle convoys. Successful ones do. Her smile was mysterious. If you want to know more, you'll have to earn it. Are you brave enough? Every logical brain cell screamed danger. This woman was clearly involved in something far beyond his world. Something possibly illegal. Something that could destroy everything. But he'd been bored for so long. And Amara didn't need his money, his status, his face. She had her own kingdom. And for the first time since his father died, Minseek felt truly, devastatingly alive. Coffee, he said, voice steadier than expected. Inside. Just you. Your army can wait. Negotiating already. Her eyes sparkled with approval. Fine. Coffee. 1 hour. But my people stay close. Non-negotiable. Why? Are you in danger? Always. She said it casually, like discussing weather. But so are you now. What does that mean? It means the moment you showed interest in me at that gala, the moment you looked at me like that, touched me like that, you became interesting to people who notice these things. People who watch me, who track my movements, who want to know who I care about. She traced one finger along his jawline. So my security isn't just for me anymore. It's for you too. Whether you want it or not. Ice ran down his spine even as heat followed her touch. What have you gotten me into? Nothing yet. Absolutely nothing. She gestured toward his door. But that coffee invitation? That's your first real step. Once you let me in, everything changes. Choose wisely, Kim Min-seek. He should have said no. Should have called the police, his lawyers, his board. Instead, he stepped aside and held the door open. After you. Amara's smile could have melted steel. Excellent choice. His kitchen had never felt so small. Amara sat at his marble island like she'd been there 1,000 times. She'd unzipped her jacket to reveal a simple black tank top that should be illegal. Espresso, Americano, cappuccino? Minseek asked, moving to his La Marzocco machine. I have 12 types of beans. Of course you do. She smiled fondly. Americano. Black. Figures. When he set her cup down, their fingers brushed. That same electric contact, but more intense in the quiet intimacy of morning. "So," he said, taking the seat across from her. "Tell me why you're really here. You invited me. You came with 8 cars and a strike team. You wanted attention. I gave you attention. The problem is I don't know what game this is, but I'm not naive. You're clearly involved in something serious. I have a company to run, shareholders to answer to, a reputation to maintain. Can't afford what? Complication? Risk? Something messy and dangerous and real." Her voice was soft, but edged with steel. "You're thinking I'm trouble. You're thinking this could blow up in your face. You're thinking about all the logical reasons to walk away." He said nothing because she was right. "But you won't," she continued. "Because I make you feel something you haven't felt in years, maybe ever. The chase was too easy. The women too predictable. The wins too hollow. You're bored, Minseek. Desperately, dangerously bored. You've been sleepwalking through a life everyone would kill for." Every word was surgical precision, cutting away his defenses. "And then I showed up. A woman who doesn't want your money, doesn't need your status, isn't impressed by your charm or your face or your 20 million Korean won's watch. Who can match you move for move and raise you besides? I'm everything you didn't know you were looking for. You're everything that could destroy me," he said hoarsely. "Yes." She didn't deny it. "I am. Completely and utterly. But what a beautiful way to burn." The air between them was suffocating. "Tell me one true thing," he said finally. "About who you really are." Amara was quiet for so long he thought she might not answer. Then, softly, "I run a network. People who need things that traditional systems can't or won't provide. I move money, products, information across borders. I solve problems that have no legal solutions. I connect people who shouldn't connect. And I do it so well that people pay enormous amounts to ensure I'm working for them, not against them. That sounds like..." "Don't." Her voice went sharp. "Don't say what you're thinking. Words have consequences. If you say it, it becomes real in a way neither of us can walk back from. Right now, we're just having coffee. Organized crime. Criminal empire." The words hung unspoken but deafening. "Why tell me this?" "Because you asked for honesty. And because if this goes further, if you take one more step toward me, you need to understand exactly what you're stepping into." She stood, walked around until she was in front of him. "I like you, Minseek. I don't like many people. But I like your arrogance. The way you think you can charm your way through anything until you meet someone who's immune. The way you're simultaneously terrified and attracted to me. That battle in your eyes right now, that's the most honest thing I've seen in years." "Are you immune?" he asked. "To the charm?" "No." Her honesty hit like a blow. "That's the problem. I'm not supposed to care about pretty CEO playboys with abandonment issues and hero complexes. I'm not supposed to show up at their houses at dawn because they looked at me like I was magic. But here I am, risking exposure, risking attention, breaking every rule I've lived by. Why? Because you made me laugh in traffic. Because you looked at me like I was the sun. Because in a world where everyone wants something from me, money, connections, protection, power, you just wanted me. Just me. No agenda." She reached out, traced his jawline. "That's rare. Precious. Dangerous." Minseek caught her hand, held it against his face, pressed his lips to her palm. "If I do this, if I choose you, what happens next? Honestly? I don't know. I've never let someone in before. Not like this. My world doesn't allow relationships. They're vulnerabilities. Weapons people use against you. Every person you care about becomes a target. But I'm so tired of being alone at the top. Tired of being untouchable. Tired of going home to empty rooms and counting my money and my power and realizing none of it means anything because there's no one to share it with. I want to know you," he said fiercely. "Everything. Every scar, every secret, every fear. I know. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm terrified." He stood, still holding her hand. He could see flecks of gold in her brown eyes. Could see the slight tremble in her breath. "This is insane," he whispered. "Completely. We'll probably destroy each other. Most likely. I should walk away. You absolutely should." But neither moved. Instead, Minseek did what he'd been dreaming about since that traffic light. He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't careful. It was desperate and demanding and raw. His hands tangled in her hair. Her hands fisted in his shirt. She tasted like coffee and danger and some addictive poison he'd spend the rest of his life craving. She made a sound between a gasp and a moan that went through him like lightning. His hands dropped to her waist, pulling her against him, and she responded by wrapping one leg around his hip. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Amara laughed breathlessly. "Well, that's a problem." "What is?" "Now I definitely can't walk away." "Is that a complaint?" "Statement of fact." She pulled back to meet his eyes. "Do you understand what this means? What you're agreeing to?" "I'm agreeing to figure it out together." "You're agreeing to make yourself a target. Then we make sure they can't touch us." "There is no us yet. Just chemistry and terrible decisions." "Then let's make terrible decisions together." He kissed her again, softer. "I'm all in, Amara. Whatever this is, wherever it goes. I'm choosing you." Her eyes glistened. "You're going to regret this." "Probably. But I'd regret not trying more." She kissed him desperately, pouring everything she couldn't say into the contact. When she pulled away, she was smiling. "One more thing. My people need to sweep your house. Security assessment. Install upgraded systems. You're now officially under my protection." "You're taking over my security?" "I'm ensuring you don't die because you kissed the wrong woman." She said it lightly, but he heard the fear underneath. "When will I see you again?" "Soon. Very soon. I promise." She walked to the door, then looked back. "Minseek?" "Yeah. Thank you for opening the door. Thank you for knocking." She smiled. Then she was gone. Minseek stood in his kitchen for a long time after, touching his mouth, replaying everything, wondering if he'd just made a deal with the devil or found his salvation. Possibly both. Definitely both. And he'd never been happier. 3 months became a strange education. Minseek learned Amara's world, not the violence, she kept him from that. But the network. The diaspora communities she served. The legitimate businesses alongside illegitimate ones. The delicate balance between power and protection. He met her people. Women who'd fled war zones, finding safety in her network. Men denied opportunities in their home countries, given chances here. Families who'd found success in Seoul because someone bothered to care. Amara wasn't just a crime lord. She was a protector in the truest sense. A queen who cared for her subjects beyond profit. "This is why you do it," he said one night in her apartment. "The illegal stuff. It's not about money." "Money and power help," she corrected, tracing patterns on his chest. "But no, it's about protection. Real protection. The kind the system doesn't provide." She propped up on one elbow. "Your world has rules, laws, structure. Mine doesn't. Sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes people need someone willing to operate outside the lines. You're basically a vigilante with better funding. I'm basically tired of watching good people get crushed by systems that don't care." She pressed against him. "Your world makes sense on paper. Mine makes sense in reality. And you don't worry about getting caught? Every day. Every single day." Her voice went quiet. "But I'm more careful now. Because I have something I didn't before." "What?" "A reason to be more careful. A reason to think about the future instead of just surviving." She kissed his shoulder. "You make me want to live, not just exist. Want to build something that lasts." That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. "See? I can be smooth." They laughed, tangled in sheets and impossible futures. But peace never lasts. For months in, Amara came home looking shattered. "What happened?" Minseek asked immediately. "Rival families are making moves. They're not attacking directly, they learned that lesson. But they're absorbing my network from within. Offering my people more money, better protection, legitimate partnerships. Some are switching sides. Can you stop it? Not without starting a war. A real one with bodies and investigations. If I look weak, I lose everything. What do you need?" She paced like a caged animal. "I need legitimacy. My network runs on reputation and fear and value. But that only works in shadows. They can offer legal protection, legitimate partnerships, government connections. I can't compete with that." Minseek's mind raced. "What if you could?" "What?" "Legitimate partnership. Legal business structure. My company could contract with yours, import, export, everything you do that's legal. We make it official. We create a relationship that gives you access to our legal teams, political connections, legitimacy. We make you untouchable through official channels. That would tie your company to mine publicly. Your board would lose their minds. I have controlling shares. They can complain, but can't stop me. He moved closer. You protected me. Let me protect you now. Different battlefield, same fight. This could destroy your reputation. Everything you've built. My reputation is a cage. I'd rather have you and controversy than safety and boredom. He pulled her close. I love you, Amara. I'm completely, impossibly, terrifyingly in love with you. Let me help. First time either had said it. I love you too, she whispered, tears streaming. Even though you're insane. Even though this is crazy. I love you. Then let me fight beside you. She kissed him, deep and desperate and full of love and fear and hope. Okay, she said. Okay, let's burn it all down and build something new. The partnership announcement sent shockwaves through Seoul's business world. Nexus Technologies and Okoye Import Group, official joint venture, multi-year contracts. Minsik returned early to spearhead integration, standing at press conferences beside Amara, making it public and undeniable. The board was furious. The press was fascinated. Competitors were confused. Rumors flew, romantic involvement, money laundering, foreign influence. But it worked. Within weeks, Amara's people saw the advantage. Legal protection, legitimate growth, government connections, stability. Her rivals couldn't compete without exposing their own operations. The poaching stopped. The network stabilized and grew. Amara remained queen, but now with armor that couldn't be stripped away. You saved my empire, she told him months later in their new shared penthouse overlooking the Han River. You saved my life multiple times. We're even. No. You gave up your perfect reputation for me. My reputation was a prison. You set me free. He pulled her close. Besides, we're building something better. Something ours. She laughed. The headlines are still having fun. Seoul's most eligible bachelor tamed by mysterious African queen. We're basically a drama plot. The kind where everyone lives happily ever after. The kind where everyone fights like hell to make happy happen. I can live with that. Good. Because I'm not going anywhere. She pulled back. Move in with me officially. Let's stop pretending we maintain separate spaces when you sleep here every night. Are you asking me to officially shack up with you? I'm asking you to build a life with me. Publicly, completely. Yes, he said immediately. Absolutely yes. That was quick. I've been waiting for you to ask since you first kissed me. 1 year after that traffic encounter, Minsik woke to find Amara on their balcony watching sunrise paint Seoul gold and pink. He joined her, wrapping arms around her from behind. What are you thinking? He asked. How different life is now. How I stopped at that traffic light thinking it might be my last moment of peace before everything exploded. How I saw you trying so hard to be charming and thought, here's someone who doesn't know real danger. And now you're as guilty as I am. Accomplice to my empire. Partner in my crimes. The other half of my dangerous heart. She turned in his arms, eyes bright with tears. And I love you for it. For choosing me even when you knew better. I didn't know better. I just knew you. Same thing. He kissed her slow and deep. Marry me, he said when they broke apart. Amara blinked. What? Marry me. Make it official in every way. Queen and CEO. Power couple. Legal and eternal partnership. That's the second worst proposal I've ever heard. What was the first? There wasn't one. I'm preparing you for a lifetime of me mocking your romantic skills. She cupped his face. Yes, you beautiful disaster. I'll marry you. I'll spend the rest of my life driving you insane and keeping you alive and loving you so hard it terrifies us both. That's the most romantic threat I've ever received. Good. Get used to it. They stood on that balcony as Seoul woke around them. Two people who'd found each other in the worst possible way and made it work anyway. A crime queen and a CEO. A motorcycle and a Porsche. Traffic lights and destiny and chemistry that could burn cities down. Their wedding 6 months later was intimate, private beach on Jeju Island. Only people they truly trusted, which wasn't many. Amara wore white silk that moved like water. Minsik wore custom midnight blue. Her guards formed a perimeter. His friends formed the small audience. Taeyong is best man, looking happy and terrified. Vows were half Korean, half Igbo. A blending of worlds that shouldn't fit but did perfectly. I never thought I'd do this, Amara whispered during their first dance, Ocean providing music. Never thought I'd let someone close enough to matter this much. How's it feel? Terrifying. Perfect. Like jumping off a cliff and discovering I can fly because you're flying beside me. That's the second most romantic thing you've ever said. What was first? When you told me you'd love me so hard it scares us both. She laughed, pure joy echoing across the beach. Still true. More true now. Good. I'd be disappointed otherwise. They danced as sunset painted the world impossible colors. Two people who'd survived bullets and betrayal and board meetings to find something neither had known they needed. Later, in their honeymoon suite with moonlight streaming through windows, Amara traced the scar on his shoulder from debris during a confrontation he'd insisted on witnessing. Regret anything? She asked quietly. Not even a little. Not a single second. Just that I didn't meet you sooner. We found each other when we needed to. That's enough. That's everything. You're getting better at romantic lines. I have an excellent teacher. She kissed him then, slow and deep and full of promises about the life they'd build. Outside, the ocean whispered. Inside, two hearts beat in sync. An African queen and a Korean CEO who'd built an empire on love and legitimacy and loyalty that couldn't be bought or broken. Their story started in traffic with a challenge, somewhere you can't follow. But he had followed. Into her world, her danger, her heart, her life. And she'd let him. That was the real miracle. Not the survival, not the success, not the empire they were building together. But the surrender. Two people powerful enough to destroy each other, choosing instead to build something beautiful. Choosing love over safety. Choosing each other over everything else. That's what made them unstoppable. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, beautiful people. See you in the next one.